Let's talk a little bit about Mike Huckabee. This guy is all over the place. There's two rumors swirling around about him now. Both of them actually have merit too, and I'll explain as we go along here. First things first, this is not a rumor, it's a fact. Huckabee just ended his radio show. Now I know what you're thinking. Mike Huckabee had a radio show? Yes, you are not the only person that thought that. It was me and 3 other people in the country who knew about it, and I listened to it a grand total of 13 minutes of one show, and that's it. Which, by the way, I think is why he's ending it. Nobody listened to it. So he's donezo with that. But now, according to Mediaite, an ad has popped up on Craigslist seeking reporters for a new venture called Huckabee Post. Really? Trying to steal the Huffington Post's thunder that much, son? It's kind of sad. And in the ad, they're already boasting offices in both New York City and Washington, D.C., and rumors about Huckabee Post had surfaced after his first presidential run in 2008. He hasn't done anything about it seemingly until now. But again, it's still somewhat of a rumor, I guess you could say, because there's been no verification directly from his camp. He hasn't spoken about it literally at all since 2008. And it's just so incredibly random. And he still has his Fox News show, which would lead one to think, well, how can you possibly have time for that? And then also set up your entire media thing, whatever this thing is. It's going to be print, I would imagine, website if he does do it. But the biggest news of them all, so scrap that. That's like the nothing little throwaway point here in the story about Huckabee. He told the New York Times he's keeping the door open for a 2016 presidential run. Oh, no, you didn't, Mike. Oh, yes, he did. So remember, in 2008, he actually finished second to McCain in the primary. Romney had dropped out before him. He stayed in longer, and then eventually the math didn't work out, and he had no chance of winning, so he had to get out of there. But he hung on for a long time, and for that Republican base, he is a fairly popular guy. And you know how they function, the conservatives. They always do the, oh, it's your turn in the Republican primary. So John McCain had to run 46 times before they gave him his turn. Mitt Romney, same thing. And then eventually they say, okay, fine, we'll go with you. Who knows, maybe Huckabee is next to get through that primary if he decides to run. And again, the reason I said that is because he mentioned it, that he's keeping the door open to the New York Times. But every time I think about Huckabee, which is rarely, why would anybody ever think about Mike Huckabee? You can't forget how radical he truly is. Because see, the thing about him is he knows how to put on that kind of face and the persona that would make people think, oh, well, he's just an average guy. You know, he's kind of an overweight dude. He smiles all the time. Even when he disagrees with somebody, he like pleasantly disagrees with them. So for example, he used to talk to Bill Maher all the time and have him on his show. They would talk about religion and whatnot. And he's just like an affable dude who's like, yeah, hey, I'm like this know-nothing kind of guy, but I can pretend to be smart and you'll like me because I'll smile all the time. He doesn't have that sleazy like Mitt Romney feeling to him, at least in my opinion. So every time I think of him, though, you have to remember, the dude is so radical. He thinks the world is 6,000 years old. Nuts. He doesn't believe in evolution. Again, nuts. He wants to replace the Bill of Rights with the 10 Commandments. I'm not kidding. He is on tape at an event when he was running back in, primary 2007. There's a tape of him saying that at an event. You're done, man. You're done. We're not entertaining the question of you becoming president here. We don't want a Christian theocracy. That's exactly what the founders didn't want. You're too radical even for mainstream America. And remember, 76% of America are Christian. So even for them, you're like, okay, whoa, you're a little too, giddy about it. You're a little too extreme with it. And then also, I mean, the worst thing, remember, Huckabee pardoned a rapist when he was governor of Arkansas because the rapist raped Bill Clinton's cousin. I shit you not. I mean, it sounds almost unbelievable. I didn't believe it when I first heard it, but it's widely reported. So you're not going to win, man. I mean, you're not going to win. You don't have a shot. You're too out there. You're too kooky. you have your little niche group, but it's not going to resonate any further.
I have opponents in this race who do not want to change the Constitution. But I believe it's a lot easier to change the Constitution than it would be to change the Word of the living God. And that's what we need to do, is to amend the Constitution so it's in God's standards rather than try to change God's standards so it lines up with some contemporary view of how we treat each other and how we treat the family.